No happiness falls down from the sky, nor is there any heaven made only of joy, sweet, peaceful, untouched by suffering. For if we have never walked through long, weary nights, we would not be delicate enough to recognize the light of an early morning. If we have never hurt, we would not understand what happiness is. Happiness, by its nature, is not an object we can grasp, nor a fixed destination at the end of a road. It is a state of feeling, fragile, ever-changing, and deeply dependent on the way a person looks at this life. That is why, from ancient times until now, there has never been a single definition of happiness. Each era, each society, each individual gives a different name to what they consider worth living for. There are people whose whole lives are drowned in continuous misfortune, loss after loss, until they insist that happiness does not exist in this world at all. In their worldview, life is only a journey of endurance where human beings are born to carry suffering until the day they close their eyes. On the other hand, there are young people who have not yet tasted deeply enough the ups and downs of life. They believe happiness must be something wonderful, something grand, and surely waiting for them somewhere in a distant tomorrow, when they have enough money, enough status, enough love, enough success. And then there are those who have gone nearly through an entire lifetime, hair already white, back already bent, yet still keep chasing happiness as if playing hide and seek with themselves. Sometimes they think they have finally touched it, only for it to dissolve in their hands. Sometimes, when they believe they have nothing, happiness suddenly returns, in a very ordinary moment, quietly and unexpectedly. The irony is this: almost everyone longs for happiness, yet when asked what happiness is, most people become confused. Some define it vaguely, some simply smile, as if they themselves are not sure what they are looking for. Some even avoid the question because deep down they fear facing the truth. Perhaps their whole life they have never truly understood what happiness means. Haven't we, like so many others, once felt extremely happy holding a diploma after years of struggling with books and exams? In that moment, we believed our efforts had finally been rewarded. But how long did that joy last? Before long, uneasiness returned. We began worrying about work, income, and other people's eyes. We told ourselves, only if we have a better job, a higher salary, and the admiration of friends, then it will be real happiness. Then, once we have a job, we think that if we cannot marry the person we love, life is still not complete. When we have a family, we long for children. After one child, we want another, a full set, a lively home, pleasing both sides of the family. Those months and years from the outside seem very happy, yet in truth they come and go quickly. Soon we feel we are missing something again. Then we wish to live separately, to own a spacious, convenient, expensive apartment. And when we look around and see friends driving newer cars, their children attending prestigious schools, their positions admired by many, we begin to compare. We fear that if we cannot keep up, then the happiness we have is only ordinary, hardly worth mentioning. So we chase shadows, standing on one mountain and looking longingly at another. We always believe happiness is somewhere else, at another time, not here, not now. In the end, after so many years of living, we still cannot answer in a complete way what happiness is. In theory, we know happiness is often felt as moments of pleasure, comfort, ease, when we attain what we want. But we do not understand why those feelings are so fragile, why they come so quickly and leave so fast. We have no time, or not enough time, or courage to look deeply into the nature of the matter. We ignore it, we continue living by old momentum, pouring all our energy into grasping the things we believe we cannot be happy without. What is worth reflecting on is this: if in the present we don't even know what can make us happy, how can we be so sure what lies in the future will make us happy? Is happiness a matter of time, only arriving when it has been long enough, or a matter of space, appearing only when we reach the right place? Or is happiness reserved only for those who meet the ideal conditions set by society? If so, does that mean those without enough money, without position, without fame can never be happy? In truth, the conditions for happiness have never disappeared. They are always present, only we no longer recognize them, not because they have lost their usefulness, but because our desire for enjoyment changes too quickly. We grow bored with what we have, and our minds are constantly stimulated by new standards imposed by society. Sometimes we struggle for many years to obtain an expensive object, not truly because we need it, but because we fear that without it, our life will be less secure than others, or because we will not be properly recognized for the value we assign to ourselves. We want to prove to the world who we are. Yet, once we have it, we realize we hardly enjoy it at all. Most human struggle, in the end, is only to serve an ego that loves pleasure and never knows where to stop. We want more material conveniences, more spiritual conveniences, respect, admiration, recognition. We call that happiness, but in truth, it is only the temporary satisfaction of emotion. If happiness is simply the feeling of satisfaction through enjoyment, then in this very moment we already hold countless conditions that allow us to exist firmly. So why do we say we are not happy? Eyes that can still see the world and the people we love, a body still healthy enough to walk, to work, to experience, a relatively stable job that brings income and also allows us to express our abilities. A family, imperfect, yet still a place of love and attachment, enough knowledge to widen our view, a heart not completely closed, still capable of love and compassion.
If we look a little more deeply, we will see we possess far more than we imagine. Yet we easily overlook all of it because a few wishes have not been fulfilled. We quickly complain and blame fate, thinking we are the most unfortunate person in the world. A wise person does not sprint into the future to search for things that bring only short-lived feelings. They spend their time and energy nurturing and protecting the happiness that is already present in the now. They understand, without too many conveniences, simply living peacefully and joyfully is already happiness. Even when life is not yet stable, we can still be happy if we know how to cherish this life. Just look at someone lying on the edge of death in a hospital, someone struggling to rise after a disaster, or someone who almost lost a loved one by a hair's breadth. Then we will understand what happiness is. Sometimes happiness is only a breath, a handful of rice, or the chance to be together one more moment. Happiness is not far away. It has never truly left us. It is only that we have been searching for it in places where it does not belong. Human beings enter life with a very natural instinct to seek what feels pleasant and to avoid what causes pain. Even as children, we cry when hungry, when cold, when our needs are not met, and we smile when we are held, comforted, fed, and allowed to play. From that instinctive foundation, happiness in the human mind gradually becomes identified with pleasant feeling. We get used to thinking happiness is when we feel joyful, pleased, satisfied. And conversely, when we are not joyful, when anxious, when in pain, we think we are unhappy. Over time, that way of feeling not only remains, it is reinforced strongly by our environment and by social consciousness. Modern society, with its fast pace and heavy pressure to succeed, constantly plants in our minds a familiar message. If you want happiness, achieve more. More money, more convenience, more accomplishments, more recognition. Images of a dream life are promoted everywhere, from media and social networks to celebrated success stories. We gradually believe that if we have not yet obtained those things, then happiness still lies ahead. Thus, for most people, happiness becomes a series of waits. We wait until graduation to be happy. When we have stable work, we will be happy. When we earn more, we will be happy. When we buy a house, buy a car, marry the one we love, have well-behaved children, get promoted, be respected, then we will be happy. Each milestone brings a certain exhilaration, but that feeling rarely stays long. At first, we do not realize it. We only feel happy, then grow accustomed to that happiness. When it fades, we do not call it boredom or habituation. We assume the reason is that we are still not enough. Not enough, not good enough, not high enough. So we set new goals, higher, farther, harder. We believe this time when we reach them, happiness will be more complete and longer lasting. But then the old script repeats. Happiness comes, stays briefly, then quietly withdraws. We become used to happiness being only a fleeting emotion, like a cool breeze passing over in the heat of midday. We do not ask why it is so fragile. We just keep chasing it, like a thirsty person drinking sip by sip and never feeling satisfied. Happiness tied to emotion has a very clear trait. It depends on conditions. Only when the condition appears, the emotion arises. When the condition changes or disappears, the emotion dissolves. We are happy when praised, sad when criticized, happy when loved, miserable when abandoned, excited when successful, devastated when failing. Our moods rise and fall with external circumstances, like a small boat drifting among waves with no firm anchor. Because it depends on conditions, emotional happiness always contains unease. Even when we are joyful, we fear that joy will be lost. Even when we feel full, we still worry we might lose everything at any time. We do not truly live fully with the happiness we have, because part of the mind is already leaning into the future, where we worry about loss. Not only that, emotional happiness is easily distorted by comparison. We do not only want to be happy, we want our happiness not to be less than others. When we see others richer, more talented, more admired, we easily doubt the value of the happiness we have. What once satisfied us becomes pale. We start to feel lacking, even though in truth we still have enough. Comparison is one of the deepest reasons people lose emotional happiness the fastest. It makes us not able to see the value of our own life because we only stare at someone else's. We forget each person has a different circumstance, a different journey, a different lesson. We place ourselves on the same scale as others, then conclude we are not happy enough. The more we chase emotion, the more easily we become addicted to emotion. We need stronger stimulation to feel joy. Small, simple joys become no longer attractive. We get used to delicious meals, then look down on plain rice. We get used to convenience, then grow irritated when deprived. We get used to attention, then feel empty when not noticed. We fail to see that habituation itself numbs our ability to feel happiness. The paradox is this: the more we try to satisfy emotion, the more easily we fall into dissatisfaction. For emotion, by nature, never knows enough. It always wants more, newer, stronger. When indulged, it grows quickly, and when not met, it reacts fiercely. We think we are searching for happiness, but in truth we are chasing a hunger without end. That is why some people possess many things others desire, yet they still feel hollow. They have money, fame, power, but their minds are not at peace. They must constantly create new goals so they don't have to face the emptiness inside. Meanwhile, there are people who live very simply, yet radiate an ease difficult to name. They do not have much, but they do not feel lacking. The problem is not how much we have, but the state of mind we live with. When the mind only knows how to chase pleasant emotion and avoid unpleasant emotion, we remain trapped in the cycle of gain and loss. We never have enough time to stop and look deeply into ourselves.
Emotional happiness is not wrong. It is a natural part of human life. But if we mistake it for lasting happiness, we will pay the price with prolonged unease. Emotion is like waves. They can make the sea lively, but if we do not know how to stand firm, we will be swept away. Only when people begin to recognize the limits of emotional happiness do they have a chance to go farther on the path of seeking meaning. Only when we are lucid enough to see that the joys we chase are fragile do we begin to ask a deeper question. Is there a kind of happiness that does not depend so much on circumstances? That question is not meant to deny emotion, but to open another direction, where happiness is not merely momentary ease, but a value that can stand firm amid the changes of life. There will come a time in life, sooner or later, when a person is forced to face an uncomfortable truth. The emotions that once made us happy are no longer enough. Not because they vanish completely, but because they no longer bring the wholeness they once did. Familiar joys fade. Achievements that once thrilled us become empty milestones. We gain more, yet feel more hollow. Usually, this stage does not arrive loudly. It does not knock with major events. It quietly seeps into ordinary days. We still go to work, still live as usual, still smile and talk with others, but inside, an emptiness silently opens. We are not exactly sad, but not truly joyful either. We cannot name that state. We only know we are tired, discouraged, and no longer motivated as before. Some mistake this state for failure. They think they have not tried hard enough, have not reached the peak they wanted. So they throw themselves into work even more, set more goals, force themselves forward. Others believe the cause lies in circumstances, the wrong job, the wrong relationship, the wrong environment. They try to change the outside, hoping that by changing a few things, the emptiness will disappear. But whichever path they choose, many eventually realize that sense of absence is not easily filled by surface changes. It is not like hunger that can be eased with a meal or fatigue solved with sleep. It is a deeper exhaustion, arising from the very way we have lived and understood happiness for years. When emotion is no longer enough, people begin to touch the limit of indulgence. Things that once made us happy no longer create real vibration. We can buy more new things, travel more, meet more people, but joy comes briefly and disappears again. We are like someone thirsty drinking salt water. The more we drink, the thirstier we become. The more we search, the more lacking we feel. It is in this stage that many fall into an existential crisis. They start asking questions they once never asked or deliberately avoided. What am I living for?
Do the things I chase truly have meaning? If none of this brings lasting happiness, where should I go? Those questions are not easy to answer, and they do not feel pleasant, yet they are signs that a person is beginning to awaken. A crisis is not always bad. Sometimes it's an invitation to stop. Stop in the rush of life. Stop amid goals following goals, to look deeply within. Only when we are no longer covered by pleasant emotion do we have a chance to see clearly what is happening in our mind. Many people fear that inner emptiness. They try everything to fill it, working more, entertaining more, consuming more. They cannot bear silence, because in silence they must face themselves. Yet the more they avoid it, the bigger the emptiness grows. It is like a wound that needs to be seen and cared for, not hidden forever under temporary bandages. When emotion is no longer enough, people begin to realize happiness cannot be merely how I feel. There are times when the feeling is not pleasant, yet the heart is at peace. There are times when we must endure, yet we do not regret. Those experiences point to another direction, where happiness is no longer equated with comfort, but linked to what we choose to live for. From here, a person begins to move into a more mature understanding of happiness. We no longer ask, how can I be happier, but does what I am doing have meaning? We no longer seek only positive emotion, but begin to care about inner peace. We no longer flee suffering at all costs, but learn to look straight at it, to understand and transform it. This moment is not dazzling, it is not glamorous, but it is real. It is like a windless afternoon when you sit alone and for the first time truly listen to yourself, not to judge, not to fix, but to understand.
And within that understanding, the path toward another kind of happiness begins to appear, a happiness not completely dependent on emotion, not easily taken away by life's changes. When a person has been through enough ups and downs to see that emotion cannot be the only foundation of happiness, they begin to look at life differently, no longer only asking, does this make me feel good, but asking, is this worth doing? That subtle shift opens a new kind of happiness, quiet, not dazzling, yet resilient and deeply meaningful. Happiness of the will does not come from indulging emotion, but from fulfilling something we believe to be right and meaningful. It does not need to be pleasant. Sometimes it is tied to fatigue, hardship, even pain. But unlike meaningless suffering, these hardships are illuminated by a clear purpose, so a person can endure without collapsing. When we hear that a loved one is trapped in a snowstorm, even lying in warm blankets, we cannot be happy. In that moment, pleasant feeling no longer matters. What we need is to be there in time, to help, even if we must face freezing cold and danger. In such a situation, happiness is not comfort, it is the knowledge that we have fulfilled our responsibility. Like parents who accept working tirelessly all day, sacrificing rest, health, even personal dreams to raise their children, if seen only through the lens of emotion, their life may look full of exhaustion, yet deep inside they feel fulfilled because they are living true to what matters most. Their happiness does not come from pleasure, but from having completed their heartfelt wish. Likewise, there are people who accept hardship, even danger, to pursue an ideal larger than themselves. They know their path is not covered with roses. They may be misunderstood, opposed, hurt, yet they continue, because if they turn away, they cannot live at peace with themselves. In that sacrifice exists a quiet happiness, the happiness of living fully with one's faith. On the surface, happiness of the will may still seem to revolve around the self, doing what one wants, achieving what one believes. But if we look closely, the self here is no longer a self that indulges, but a self that is responsible. It does not demand immediate satisfaction. It is willing to endure for long-term value. That difference makes this kind of happiness more lasting.
To live with this kind of happiness, one needs a certain degree of mindfulness. We must know clearly what we are doing, for what, and accept the price. We cannot pursue a great purpose while demanding constant comfort. The two rarely go together. Once we choose a meaningful path, we must accept periods of fatigue, instability, and lack of immediate reward. When facing difficulty, instead of resisting or running away, we can learn to meet it differently. We understand we are moving through a challenge, not being punished. We do not treat discomfort as an enemy, but as part of the journey. This shift helps us not be drowned by adversity. If hardship reaches a peak and discomfort becomes real suffering, we still do not need to quit, for it is precisely in suffering that the value of happiness becomes most visible. Only those who have known hunger understand the preciousness of simple food. Only those who have endured cold long for warmth. Only those who have lost know how to cherish reunion, and only those who have stood between life and death truly love this life. When met with awareness, suffering is no longer only a burden, it becomes a teacher. It refines the will, deepens understanding, and helps a person grow from within. We no longer see happiness and suffering as two opposing extremes that cancel each other out. We begin to see that they depend on each other to exist. Just as jade is crystallized from stone and lotus blooms from mud, you cannot find jade outside rock, nor lotus outside mud. Happiness is the same. It does not appear in a life made only of ease. Adversity, when embraced, becomes the very material that nourishes deep happiness. When we understand this, we no longer dream of a heaven made only of joy. We stop demanding life be perfect. We accept that life naturally includes both happiness and suffering, and it is this wholeness that makes life worth living. Happiness of the will helps us stand firm amid change. It does not make us always joyful, but it helps us not collapse easily. It does not eliminate suffering, but gives it meaning. When there is meaning, a person can endure much without losing themselves. Yet even happiness of the will is not the final destination, for although it rises above the ordinary demands of emotion, it still rests on must do, must achieve, must become. It still requires constant effort, and at a deeper level, one can still grow tired. That is why, after going far enough on the path of will and ideals, some people begin to realize there is another kind of happiness, one not arising from achieving or completing anything, but from serenity, letting go, and fully accepting what is. And from here, the journey into true happiness begins. After passing through the stages of emotional happiness and the happiness of will, a person gradually sees a simple truth that is also difficult to accept. No external condition can guarantee lasting happiness. No matter how much we possess, how much we achieve, how many goals we accomplish, there will still be times when the heart is not at peace, for all conditions can change, and all achievements can be lost. True happiness does not lie in having something more, but whether we still need something more. When the mind stops searching, stops demanding, stops resisting, a vast space begins to open. Quiet, not thrilling, yet solid. That is inner peace. Inner peace is not a state with no suffering. It is the ability to be with suffering without being drowned by it. It is the ability to meet life exactly as it is, without embellishment, without escape, without denial. When the mind is calm enough, we no longer keep asking, "When will I finally be happy?" For happiness is no longer a destination, but a mode of presence. True happiness does not need to be recognized. It does not need anyone to see it or praise it. It does not need to prove itself. It exists very quietly, like breathing. When we breathe in and know we are breathing in, breathe out and know we are breathing out, in that moment we are alive. And when we truly live, happiness is present.
The ancients often spoke of peace and joy together. Only when peace and joy walk side by side can it be lasting. Joy without peace is only temporary excitement. Peace without joy easily becomes numbness, withdrawal. True happiness is the harmony of both, a gentle joy arising from deep calm. There are people with not much money, not status, not honored by society, yet they radiate an ease hard to describe. They can smile at ordinary things, a warm cup of tea, a quiet morning, a flower blooming by the porch. They do not seek intense experiences to feel alive, because they are already alive within each moment. Living in peace does not mean giving up or becoming passive. It does not mean having no dreams or goals. The difference is, we no longer place the entire value of our life on achieving those goals. We work, strive, contribute, yet do not trade away inner peace. When results come, we receive them. When results do not match our hopes, we do not collapse. To touch true happiness, we must look straight at our deepest inner motives. We must recognize that most of our cravings and resistances come from a naive ego, an ego that wants to be above others, wants to control life, wants absolute security. But life does not run that way. The more we cling, the more we suffer. Letting go is not abandoning life, it is abandoning the illusion that we can control everything. When we let go of unnecessary desires, we become much lighter. When we no longer resist what is not as we wish, we stop creating extra suffering for ourselves. The mind becomes softer, more flexible, more able to adapt to life's changes. Training to reach this state is not something of 1 or 2 days. It is a long process requiring patience and mindfulness. We learn to observe our mind each day, when craving arises, when resistance appears, when comparing, when judging. No need to suppress or condemn, just recognize. Honest recognition is already a great transformation. When we live with such mindfulness, the little ego gradually dissolves. We no longer feel separate from the world. We begin to sense a deep connection with people and all things. Others' joy no longer provokes envy. Others' pain no longer feels foreign. We see ourselves in others and others in us. Happiness, then, is no longer a closed personal matter. It becomes a flow. When we are peaceful, that peace spreads. When we are fully present, that presence nourishes not only us, but also those around us. We do not need to do anything grand. Simply living rightly, truthfully, deeply is already a great contribution to life.